Oh.
I still last time I tried to is it okay? Yeah, like when I was like, yeah, yeah, okay.
You pretty much just have to sign into like a Gmail account,
Okay.
and then it kind of looks like this.
Oh, that's
and
so
you
cool.
just yeah. Well, we can. Oh yeah. We
Okay.
can walk you through.
No wonder because last time we were on Street Art, but we weren't putting the period at the end.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's. Can I take a picture? Or yeah, you do. Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much.
I don't recognize it.
All right. Oh, this is loud. Good afternoon. We're going to get started. The booth is about a mile away. Welcome everybody. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes que están aquí con nosotros. Bienvenidos. We have a packed agenda today, but hopefully a very interactive one. And so my name is Roque Barros. I'm with the Imperial Valley Wellness Foundation. And I'm going to move it up a little bit and then I'll go back. But we have the folks here that are all conveners for the Southern Border Region Coalition. And actually, I'd like to have them, not a lot of us, so I'm going to actually, if you don't mind, I'll let them introduce themselves real quick. So.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniela Flores. I'm the executive organizer with Imperial Valley Equity and Justice Coalition, and my colleague Dylan Castillo is here. Juan and Fernanda are part of our team and are not currently here. And I'm going to pass it over to Manuel.
Thank you, Daniela. Hi, everyone. My name is Manuel Reyes. I'm an organizer with us. Okay. Better? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Manuel Reyes. I'm an organizer with the San Diego and Imperial County Statewide Council. And thank you so much for coming. I'll pass it to Maritza.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Maritza Núñez, and I support ID Wellness Foundation with the CERF program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lorna Avila, and I'm also supporting Comité Cívico del Valle and CERF.
Hi guys, I'm also with Comité Cívico with Policy Advocacy. And yeah, part of the team. I'm with Lorna, Christian, and Melvin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew. I'm an air monitor technician, also part of Comité, and it's wonderful to be with all of you this evening.
Yeah, good evening. Luis Tornado, also with Comité Cívico.
Hey, members of my team, I'm Cristian with Comité Cívico, and I think Rocco's going to get started.
Thank you, and want to thank all the co-conveners. We've all been working really hard together to keep this process going, and again, really want to thank all of you for being here and joining us today on this sector meeting around disinvested communities. So the agenda, this is a really quick overview of the agenda that we'll be looking at today. We'll do a couple of exercises that we're going to be doing today to get more of your input, your ideas as we kick off this CERF process, and then there's some other. We'll provide additional information as you can see, like where you can come in, where to serve, coalition. Really important part is the sector lead responsibilities. That's the work, kind of the goal that we're moving towards as this next phase takes off, is identifying sector leads and kicking off that work that of that advisory committee that will be running that. And so I guess just to kick it off, we're going to actually move into these to this exercise. And we're kind of calling this the dreaming exercise. And so what we'd like you to do is hopefully you're sitting next to somebody maybe that you don't know, or if you do know them, that's okay. If you want to move around, please feel free to. But we're going to ask you to introduce yourself to your neighbor or somebody in this room, and then take 10 minutes or so, 5 minutes each, to share what you have always wanted to see improved or developed in the Imperial Valley. Again, don't worry about a strategy, just share your concerns and hopes for your community. And then once these 10 minutes are up, we'll give an opportunity for some of the tables or some of your teams or partners to share what you've come up with. But this is an important exercise for us because this is what we're going to be doing as part of the CERF process. You all are going to be doing is providing, this input, information to us, your hopes and your ideas for your neighborhood. So, so please, as I said, introduce yourself to your neighbor and share with them. And then we'll be back.
You may use the pen though. You're welcome to use the pen. That one's I graduated, born in 2000, graduated from Calipatria. Yeah. Yeah, so we should and I'm also bachelor's of science. She's new to CCV. I'm curious at Lexica. I was born in Lexica, but I lived in Lexica. Early education, but I graduated from my high school. Yeah, I graduated from I did go to Lexica. Or 2019. 2019. Yeah, but I was still like lots of stuff.
And so once you apply to that needs, okay, you have to figure out resources. That's going to take money, resources, and it's going to take a lot of things. I have a strategy. I have mapped things out. Implement that.
Like picking up just a general sound from everyone kind of speaking, or no estoy seguro, pero we can find out.
Just something for us to work on.
Sí. I was kind of hoping there was going to be more outreach and also being transparent to if you got on their email list, and even
So that's it can be so.
Okay, we're going to bring you back. Hopefully you had a good conversation. I think it's an end of conversation. But we all couldn't be at your table to listen and learn from you and what you were talking about. So I am going to pass the mic around. And maybe if somebody from your table would just like to share a few comments about what you all talked about at your table, since we all couldn't be there.
We kind of agreed about more open dialogue, opportunities and information that a lot of people in our community only hear a very small bit or don't get to it at all, and that they lose opportunity to advance, take advantage of opportunities and access resources that other people know are there already and they know how to access it very easily, right? So we felt that there's a lot of talent that isn't being fully developed because of lack of dialogue, lack of information, and lack of clear focus what that information can lead to. There's many opportunities we're losing. And then they talked about a comment.
We're talking about common goals that most likely the many pockets in our community, we have common goals. We're discussing broadband right now. And so if we have those common goals, if we have different strategies to get to that goal, that's okay. But if we're having those same conversations, then we can make sure that we are touching with a lot more people, a lot more of our community. And so that will make us stronger if we are all in the same boat, I guess you would say, and we have that common goal.
All right, how about this table here?
I'm Westmoreland, that's my disinvested community, and there's are representing Nyland residents. One thing we've talked about with Nyland, they definitely need a post office. You know, that theirs burnt down a couple years ago. More security, more sheriffs out and about, or hire a security company to patrol the area. Closer ambulance service, more student activities. I think every community we all strive to get that done. A park for Nyland. Westmoreland has a little park and it is used, but you always need more recreational activities, especially for youth. That's a great way to keep them out of trouble. Access to fresh fruits and vegetables. That's something basic that we take for granted, but these small rural towns that don't have a decent grocery store don't have access to that. Nyland, some better roads and sidewalks, and trails are a more walkable community, and greater access to healthcare. Also, one of my goals with the Westmoreland Community Food Pantry is accessing better mental health care for the citizens. And a person that is struggling isn't going to take a bus to El Centro when it takes them half the day to get there. So we would like people to come to our community and provide these services. And some small business incentives and grocery stores for both of us, and increasing transportation. Those were the things we talked about.
Good evening, I'm William Cooper, I'm the president of the Calipatria Lions Club. This is our group here. We've spoken a lot of the same things that the group at the table spoke on, learning how to work together, working towards common goals. Your partnerships inside grassroots and charity work is going to be the most important thing that you come across. I know that everybody needs specific things for their sector, transportation in Palm Bay, it's healthcare and broadly. But I think all of us are largely about the youth. I know that after we, the Lions Club finished with being cover up in art installation, we're doing youth drug addiction and drunk driving education for those reasons. That if we can start doing prevention instead of punishment, I think that will drive us forward. And I would really like to see a trade school. If we only have 3 industries here, corrections, ag, and retail, I would love to see education to specific things, jobs in lithium, green energy, that things that are coming into this next century. If we start now, we'll be very forward for the way it comes.
Okay, so we talked about the importance of inclusivity. We know that for years, communities of colors have not been included in these decision-making powers. So now that we have this grassroots project, we want to ensure that we're all included, and we all want for our communities to be represented, and this is the chance. We want to diversify the economy, and this is a great way. That's why we're here for this invested, farm workers, LGBTQ. We all want to be included, and right now we have the chance, and we think this project is great.
I apologize, everyone. Before introducing myself, I'd like to thank you for attending, and I'd like to thank every single person that has shared any experience. Thank you, everyone who has already spoken. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself, but I am also with CCB, representing economic justice. So listening to everything, it's something that also touches my heart and that I take with a lot of consideration. My name is Nadia. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening. My name is Hilton Smith. I'm the CEO of Black Lives Matter in Pure Valley. And one of my main concerns and what I've been doing for the last 10 years is I'm an advocate for the homeless. I've been sitting here for the last 15 minutes and going to the tables. It's unfortunate that no one mentioned the homeless population. We have a growing homeless population in Pure County that needs to be addressed. I have been working with the homeless or the unsheltered for 10 years. And when you get to know who they are, you understand that it's a personal thing. Each personal problem is the result of their current situation. And being homeless is a man-made problem. Society created homelessness, and society can solve it. But it's going to take resources. It's going to take commitment, determination. Okay? But it can be solved. Anything created by man can be solved by man. Homelessness is not a natural disaster. We created it. And in Pure County, there's a growing population that needs to be addressed. And I have plans that I want to implement that can not only eliminate homelessness, okay, but address everything that's going on in Pure County around homelessness. So I would like you to consider the fact that homelessness can be solved. And if you have determination, proper resources, it will be solved. Thank you very much.
I want to thank everybody for sharing this here and appreciate hearing, your comments, your needs, your suggestions. I heard a lot about common goals, communication, inclusivity, and that's really what we're hoping happens here, right? That all of you that are here today, you're really a critical piece of this work that we're trying to do with CERF, right? And this process is all about equity, and so that's why we're all here, the co-conveners that you met, we're all here in your community, right? Getting your input, hearing your voices, and we're going all throughout the Imperial Valley, especially disinvested, underrepresented communities. This is the opportunity to hear you, and hopefully that we'll be able to, all of us collectively, address those needs and projects that you all are talking about. So thank you for that, for being here. And so I'm just going to go quickly because I know some of you. This is the wrong thing. Oh, sorry. Too many remotes in my house. Okay, so real quickly, you all have heard about CERF. It's a $600 million state investment. The state is making $65 million of that is here as part of phase 1, and it's really to address, according to CERF, these are guidelines from the state, is to address our long-standing economic employment and development concerns. We are one of 13 regions, as you all probably know. We've been paired with San Diego County, and we're the southern border region. So where do you come in? You are the most important part of CERF, and so we have some bylaws that part of this work that the next main step really is to select sector leads, right? And that's going to be a really important process for you all to determine who the sector lead is, representing these 15 different sectors that you see here. Tonight we're here around disinvested communities, but you all may have interest in multiple of these sectors, right? And so we're hoping again that the projects that you identified, homelessness and so forth, which is the sector that most relates to that concern and that you want to be a part of, and maybe even be a sector lead in that with that piece of work. So again, in these sectors were all given, not all of us, but most of them were given to us by the state requirements, and then the co-conveners that you all met today added a few others in here that we thought were really critical for the Imperial Valley. Okay, so one of the more, an important part of this is for you all to become a coalition member, right? Because as a coalition member, you're going to be voting on sector leads. And so we're going to ask you, and there's actually opportunities here that you can scan to complete a coalition member form. There's also access to these bylaws. I know some of you have had some questions. Each one of us has received questions about how is this going to run, how is it going to operate, what are the guidelines. So there's extensive work that members have done around the bylaws, and so there's a link there if you'd like to do that, or just ask us a question, and any one of us co-conveners can help you. And so we'll be asking you, I'm guessing most of you are here tonight because you are interested in this disinvested community stakeholders sector, but you're allowed to select up to 2. Doesn't mean you can't participate in the others or attend, but we're asking you your primary selection of the top 2. Okay, so I know I went over that kind of quickly, but we want to make sure that we spend more time with hearing your voices at the table. And now I'm going to turn it over to Christian.
Thank you, Roque. And yeah, we'll just go quickly over some more organizational stuff about CERF. Let's see. There we go. So the sector leads that Roque talked about are the representatives that are going to come out of these sectors. So all these 15 different groups. They're going to be meeting a certain frequency. Right now it's quarterly. It might change depending on what you as a sector decide. So a lot of this is going to be in flux based on the decisions that are happening within the sectors, whether you want to meet with another sector. So this is the Disinvested Communities Group. This is the first meeting. But if you feel you want to work with the youth or the farm worker group, you can set up those meetings. As a convener, our role is to help coordinate a lot of these efforts. So we want to make sure that you're open to that. Sector leads are going to be self-nominated. So we ask if you feel like you can take on this opportunity to fill out the self-nomination form. There's going to be an election process, so everybody in the room that feels they represent and has signed up to be a member of the disinvested community sector will vote on who's leading that group. And there's going to be various sector leads depending on the groups. Some of the sectors have multiple people that are representing them so that you can create a number of voices that speaks for the most underrepresented sectors that we've historically seen in economic development, planning, and implementation. And yeah, we ask that you work with us. If you have any questions, you've seen a lot of the conveners in this room today. Ask any one of us. We can assist you with participating and becoming a sector lead if you wish to do so. But one of the things that the sector leads are going to be speaking on and voting for their sector, because they're going to be carrying the voice of everybody that they're representing, is going to be a lot on the research that needs to happen by the end of the year. They have to approve a plan that is going to get submitted to the state. That's one of the goals that we have for the end of this year, that research is going to be put together and that is approved by the state as we move into other phases of CERF, where there are other pots of money to do more research, to do more work. And this, part of the work of the sector leads as well is going to be coordinating your sector with the help of the co-conveners. Well, I don't need to look at it. But yeah, and it's going to be about getting the input from everybody within that sector through surveys, conversations, dialogue, however we and you, the sector leads, hopefully need to be able to feed up into the system. This is a grassroots approach. This is something new for the state and everybody else. So we're hoping that it feeds into very well planned economic plans. Thank you. And yeah, this is what I'm referring to, that the quality of the regional plan is dependent on community engagement. So we know that there's a lot of different documents already out there, reports, research. If you, as somebody in the community, already knows about a resource that's been created, we want to know so that the researchers can refer to that as a starting point. They don't have to go out and recreate that work, because that's just wasting time, money, and energy. So we want to make sure that we take off quickly and we do it right. Yeah, and join the sector that shares your professional or lived experience. We all wear many hats in life. Find the one that fits you the most, or where you feel you can help the most based on what you know and how you work and where you work. We also encourage other events and to volunteer to help people join this effort. We have a very tight window to get a lot of this started, but that doesn't mean that between now and the end of the year, we're just going to be doing one meeting. No, we want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with the pace we're moving at, and if you want multiple meetings, then you tell us you want multiple meetings. If you want us to go present to a group that you're hosting, we can go present this information to a group you're hosting, and make sure that everybody gets a chance to participate in the process. And we want this, the groups also and the sector leads to read the plan. Again, the sector leads are going to have to take the voice of the sector and vote on this and make a lot of decisions for the whole group. So if you are a sector lead, you do carry a lot of responsibility, but you're also going to have a lot of support, not just from your sector, but also from the co-conveners to help you understand and participate in the process. And yeah, this is speaking to the timeline. So we're in part one, or phase one of the program. And by the end of the year, again, we have to have a regional summary, which is just looking at all the research and the data that's already available of Imperial and San Diego counties as the southern border region. Labor market analysis, industry cluster, and strength, weaknesses, opportunities, or a SWOT analysis for those that work in more professional spaces where they use this. So all of these are research prompts that are going to be put out for researchers to bid on, and we want the sectors to be able to inform a lot of that work, so that when everything gets approved by the end of the year, it's submitted on time, it's reflective and representative of what you see, what we see, and what we know to be the true picture of Imperial County. In phase two, we'll have 6 months after phase one ends to move into phase two, and this is also where we're going to see additional support from the state. Part of the money that they receive from the federal government to do a lot of this work, or which they set aside, is also going to include support for the sectors to work past the December line through June. So this effort doesn't end just because the report's been approved, because there are multiple items to still work on. And one of the goals is to really work on what you guys were just talking about, these opportunities that we have, or these projects and ideas that we want to do. Because this is not setting us up for just, state grants. This is supposed to be for investments by philanthropy, investments by the federal government, by the state, by national efforts, because we're on borders. So this is opening up the door for everything that we've always wanted to see. So really what we want you to start thinking about is how to CERF relate to yourself, your family, and your community, right? We always hear about these programs that come down or that get put together, but like really how does it affect you on the daily life? Works, or if you see that it's going to work. But right now we can dream big because there's a huge canvas of opportunity and we can paint whatever we want. And some examples that we want to share is plans that you might have seen locally, which are kind of the same opportunities that we're talking about today. So if you think about public transportation, the Carroll County Transportation Commission has to put plans for like which routes are better, which routes are more needed, how many buses do we need, how many drivers do we need, right? So those are the type of plans that are already in place for transportation. If you know somebody and has a team that participates in Upward Bound, funding is based on a competitive application, so you have to have a plan when you apply for that funding. Local workforce training, the Workforce Development Agency, and other workforce training entities, they have to put plans together for a curriculum, career prospects, hiring, companies that are going to be hiring those people. So you have to look at the whole ecosystem before you actually do a lot of those things. And right now, a lot of you folks recognize from other meetings about lithium. So we know that there's specific plan that's getting put out, programmatic environmental impact report, baseline reports. All these reports are for the future. So they all have to be put together. So this is why planning is important. And obviously, again, planning right now gives us the opportunity to go after those bigger pots of opportunity that are going to be coming up. Yeah, I just wanted to run through those quickly so we can get to the next exercise, which is now knowing a little bit more context, the opportunities, projects that we're kind of looking at, to start thinking, how do we turn that from just a dream into reality? So we're going to do 20 minutes, give or take. It's a small group, so we can do another share back with everybody. To have for projects that you think could be funded by CERF, or opportunities that you want to see put into those planning documents that CERF is creating. Think about what your sector would fall under, or where that project would be in. And already projects that might be already out there. And like I said, there's already a lot of planning documents out there. If you know something that was already, identified, how do we make it reality, right? Like if the document is sitting on a shelf, how do we take it off the shelf and actually put it into use? The co conveners are around a lot of the tables, and we'll take the next 20 minutes to discuss. All right, we'll do 10 minutes. Thanks for taking the minute.
So when we talk about project
but yeah, I mean, we're coalition members because we play a role. Each of them we want to see them, so we play we have to see a lot of this out there to play this game. Something that was is that the sector need has an opportunity to funds are able to have disadvantaged communities want to come together. You're the center, you're able to kind of work with everyone there and say, okay, let's get everything as we get on. Let's start. And you'll be working to represent disadvantaged communities. And there's 14 other sectors. So you'll be working with the sectors, organizations, each and every course, there's going to be a social and we'll be talking about dreams from everyone's secondary perspective. So it might be like a plan of development, that sort of thing. Not like that helps prevention of suicide, right? So it's not to say, okay, we want a plan that's good development, that then you're able to kind of have a conversation and a dialogue with other people that have different plans and ideas and kind of work together to we can actually help you right now if you're interested in sector lead. Yeah, for sure. If you're interested, we have a which pretty much gets you to be part of the coalition, so that you see all the information and you commit to these principles of inclusive collaboration and development. Just like everything. And then once you do that, you can actually look up this nomination form. I can check if they have your name for you. And you can nominate organization, and there will be essentially, you're still deciding the process of ballot. Where then essentially and actually, you don't have to agree it would just be nominating yourself, and if you want to play a role in bringing disadvantaged applicants together, whatever business voices that you want to sign, and again, you being a civilian doesn't mean that it's your idea, right? It's more like but absolutely, you can bring your voice out. So we will be filling out the form, and then I'll show you the nomination form, and I can also detail. You can make sure you have a copy of it so that you can have it for yours. But it is a relatively simple process. So we can all use just
That's why break it down, make sure that decision itself information and power. Process. I see you on Facebook. You've been seeing
All right, everybody. Sorry to cut it short. We're almost at time, so I just want to give folks a chance to do any final kind of report back if folks want to tell us about where ideas or anything about if you want to join the coalition and sign up. We do have tablets here, so if somebody can't read the QR code on their phone or is familiar with how to do that, somebody in the co-convener group can help you do that as well. Daniela, I don't know if you want to start with the video or. Okay, we'll start with Erica. Yeah, we have a. Kind of what you talk about. How do you get like an idea when you were thinking of knowing on that?
Okay, for us, for me at least, I worked with the Black Lives Matter organization, and we wrote a proposal to try and get like the office so that we can have an assistance and resource center for homeless and low income to like assess them and find out what they need. And
You know, and I was sharing with her that I sit on IBC board and we do have the tiny homes, the Lotus Lily. And one of the things that we do for those students is we make sure that they have wraparound services. And so if we have model centers within our community, that we need to look at what they're doing and maybe emulate that for the wider community. And so in that specific arena, we make sure that the students, if they need employment, if they need guidance on how to get, if they have food needs, if they have whatever needs they need, therapy or whatever, or maybe something, some therapy to get them back to their families. Anything they need, they receive. Unfortunately, we only have a few spaces, few homes, and we get over 300 applications every single year. And so if that is something that is working in our community, then we should emulate it and, make it on a wider scale and learn from it and even improve it if that is necessary. Because there's always ways of improvement, but always starting in something that is successful and then put it in a larger scale.
Our discussion was a little different. It was more based around how we could get more participation in the disinvested community community sectors. And so we talked about maybe having like a frequent newsletter that includes all of the resources available and meeting times, and also scheduling frequent meetings, because there isn't like one main location or a place where everyone can go and find the information they need. So just centralizing the information for everyone.
Hi, we spoke about transportation a lot in our session and how maybe contacting the county to get buses or the vans put in different communities and then having the county hire somebody to drive the people into maybe Highland or Calapat or let the communities decide like where they need to be connected because like for Bombay Beach is one bus a week. That's it. They get picked up Thursday morning, they get dropped off Thursday night, and that's all they have. So when they have these transportation meetings that we're located in Island, they were on Wednesdays, and nobody could get to the transportation meeting to voice their concerns because they didn't have transportation. So it's been a big issue with us, and the kids, if they want to go to college and they don't have cars, they can't get there. So that was a big thing we were talking about and trying to plan on how we would get help in that area for our communities.
I was at this table. I'm trying not to get through this. I've been listening to every single person and every one of you. I'm not sure if you can hear. I honestly don't think I need the mic. Are you able to hear? Is everyone able to hear me? Yeah. So as I introduced before, I am with economic justice. All of these, I feel, are all economic justice. With communities, for example, ours, all the disinvested, I feel people, for us, our community, we have a narrative. And depending on like age, depending on our experiences, we each have our own narrative concerning our community. I feel the most prominent narrative would be, not just in our area, but any disinvested community in any other area in California. The narrative is, oh, we're probably set up to be like this, to be excluded, we're set up for failure. It could start with the youth, it could start with older people that feel like they're already established in terms of age, that they run out of opportunities. Every single topic that was addressed, it's all accessibility, it's all under economic justice. For example, recreation. I really liked how you said like events. Obviously we have sports, all of that, but definitely involving the youth. Sometimes like it starts very young. And that narrative, it starts when people are young. And it just kind of changes. Very, very little sometimes. Some people are a lot more open to different ideas. Sometimes people or our community, we stick with the same narrative. We even encourage it to other people. For example, traditions and education. All of this, our community, I feel it is all networking, and there's only so much information available, so many ideas, so many minds that we have here. We can definitely create something that is changing the narrative, just like how we Christian mentioned. We have a canvas and we literally could paint what we want to it. It doesn't matter if there already is a painting there. We can just like make it blank, flip it on the other side, and do something different. My table specifically, we talked about public health. I feel like that is also concerning all economic justice. If you don't have a healthy body, how can you perform in a healthy way? And all of that, I feel it's just networking, connecting people to the right people, anyone that would like to has that mentality that can easily put us one step up higher. To me, all of this is networking. I'm taking all of these points, all this information. Public health, we kind of mentioned maybe it should be our own sector. Sorry.
Just to keep us kind of on time. So I just want to do like Melanie is very passionate about this work that's with our Economic Justice Association. Daniela, your table.
We were working on the iPad on some of the forums during our time, but I'm taking my hat off as a co-convener and just sharing in the disinvested communities. Part of the role of equity, because we're in Calexico, there are issues of human rights with the migrants, sort of injustices that are taking place, and so whether we want to or not, it's impacting us, and I think that they ought to be part of this conversation as well in the disinvested communities.
So yeah, and thanks everybody. I think that's the only thing we can speak on the microphone. We're a very calm group. We want to keep you guys on time. We're a little bit over, but I just want to do some final reminders. There's information for all meetings, not just for this sector, but for all 15 that were highlighted before. It's going to be on the website. It's a little small, but I believe do we have printed copies of the slides? Yes. Yeah. So if you'll refer to this page, it's his website that SCSU, that's the convener that received the contract, is doing at sbcerf.scsu.edu. That's where all the information for CERF is going to be at. It's all going to be public. Transparency is a key in this program. And screen turned off. But that's where all the information is, and that's where you can also sign up for a lot of these emails and newsletters, subscriptions, for a lot of these sector announcements as well. And one last thing we want to ask everybody is to tell your friends, family, co-workers to join the coalition, right? Like this is an effort that is going to take all of Imperial County, all of San Diego, to kind of build regional plans that work. You know, we want to make sure that it works for everybody, not just for a few. So that's why voices matter throughout this whole process, not just at this point. And yeah, Roque, if you want to close out with any final words as a go?
No, just again, thank you all for being here, and we look forward to continuously, engaging with you, learning from you, and helping us figure this out. And we hope that, we're able to get there together and just thank all the co-conveners. It's always a great, when people come to Cal picture when you're Craig's here. Yeah, so thank you all for being here.